Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Tips in 10, where we give you the top tips in the least amount of time. This series was built to help you stay in the know without taking a chunk out of your schedule. Today, we are joined by New Jersey's PA's branding guru, Ryan Harbinson, also known as Harb. Ryan has more than 15 years of marketing and sales experience under his branding belt. Okay. Discount double check. So you're bound to learn solid strategies today. Ryan works for ClearBridge Branding Agency, where the mission is to build an organization's brand with a clear strategic focus and a compelling creative approach. Bottom line, if you want to see your brand take off, Ryan has the tools to get you there. Welcome to Tips in 10. Ryan, I'm just going to call you Harp.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Really excited to be here. Really awesome and nice intro. Appreciate that. Thanks so much.
Bro, it's going to be awesome today, and I'm so excited. And I just, like I said, like I was telling you earlier to calm down. Honestly, I just want you to ramp it up. Ramp
Let's go.
it up. Come on. All right, let me start off with this first question here.
Sure.
What is the best practice a brand can use to identify their target market?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people get overwhelmed with that, right? Because right now, especially more than ever, there is so many ways and different areas to go. And I think really what it starts with is understanding what your team's capabilities are. Okay. That's number one, because we've all been in the world where we have 10 social media accounts, we have blogs that we're writing, we're doing SEO, and then we have like a convention that we have to go to, and then we're sponsoring these events, and before you know it, you don't get anything done. So I think first and foremost, it's what is your team's capabilities. Second off, it's understanding who and where your audience lives. And I think that is the most important thing. For me, I always tell everybody it's good to focus on like 3 platforms and stick with that, because your efforts can go through, because we're telling a different story every time that we're on each platform, right? So, all right, so for instance, let's say that I go to a restaurant and I know the owners. Okay. I'm going to tell a different story on different social media platforms based on where the audience is, where they live, and what that looks like. So, like if I'm on Facebook, I'm going to probably take a selfie, with the whole table and tag everybody had a great time at, restaurant X. If I'm on Instagram, I'm going to take a picture of my actual food, right? But if I'm on LinkedIn, I'm going to take a picture with the owners. So it's the same story and it's the same messaging, but the way that we're telling that story is tailored based on the audience and who they are and where they live.
That is so good. That is so good. And I know too, I mean, because if you just do the same thing across all 3 platforms, it's just not going to stick.
Yeah, most people follow you on multiple platforms. So they're going to see the same content being rinsed and recycled. That's why like the video side of thing is so important too. Like, when we do things like this, like a 10-minute thing, like this is going to give us content for at least a month, because we'll be able to cut stuff up and put it on the different platforms, because it's a different audience, wants a different messaging. And remember, you got to remember too, like the best content right now on TikTok is 7 seconds.
Really?
7.
Okay, interesting. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but just, when someone does view, let's say, the same thing on all 3 different platforms, do they think less of a brand? Or do they just get tired of it? Like, or do they not follow you as much?
Yeah, I think it can cause people to be unfollowed. Part of it too. I think part of it is your community will support you on all platforms, where it is. But I think people want to see different stuff because that's why they're going into different social arenas. They don't want to see the same thing. Like there are ways and things that can be done that can be like flip back and forth, like you're very similar to like if I'm doing TikTok and I'm doing YouTube Shorts, like we can recycle the different content because the audience is different and different people might see that content from other sides. But I think there's ways to manipulate the way that you're doing it, right? And like if you're going to take 5 or 6 pictures at an event, only do 1 or 2 on one and then do 3 or 4 on the other, kind of a thing.
I like it. So what social media tactics show the most return on engagement?
Yeah, I mean, engagement is the way to go right now. I mean, for us, what we see right now, especially if you're going to be utilizing the organic elements of it and comments. right now.
Mm,
Content is king, engagement is queen, right? And we want to be able to utilize hashtags in a couple different ways, right? So part of the understanding is we want to get involved in the conversation with the people that are being, engaged with our content, number one, right?
mm.
Comments on comments is a great way to go. It helps the algorithm. It also boosts your content up for more people to see, right? So that's one. Two is understanding, the type of hashtags that we're utilizing, right? Because the hashtags that we're trying to use is to try to pull in a new group of people into our content that are maybe relevant to either things that we want to be a part of or the industry that we're in, or we're trying to get involved in a new group of people, right? And then three is really integrating the $80 strategy, right? Which is 10 hashtags a day. Okay. And under those 10 hashtags, find 9 posts. And under those 9 posts, like, comment, share, or as I always say, all the above, right? And become part of that community. Because what happens is that as we are posting our content and telling our story as a business, as an entrepreneur, as our own brand, right? We also want to be involved in the comments on the people that could be our customers, our new content,
Mm.
people, and or people that we are trying to bring into our actual community as well.
Okay, now are you using those same hashtags across all platforms, or is it going to be different for the platforms, each
A lot of
individual one?
times it's the same because
Okay,
even though it's the same hashtag, it's a different style under those hashtags based on the different platforms that we're under, right? So, like, if we're under Facebook and then we're under TikTok, the hashtag world is different on what people are posting because the
right,
audience is different.
right, right. That's good. That's good. So as we know, creating content is not for the weak or the short attention span like myself, right?
Hmm.
I love it if you can just share some tips on repurposing content.
Yeah, I mean, content is a giant pain in the ass, right? I mean, the problem that we see all the time is that it's this. Uh, we don't know what to post, so then we overthink what we want to post, and then we don't post. The analysis by paralysis mentality. So
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a couple ways to start, right? And this is like old school social media. It's still relevant to today. Is that you've got to create a content calendar. That is
Mm,
that is number one. You have to have some sort of a old school TV guide mentality to it, right? Okay. So like Mondays we do this, Tuesdays we do this, Wednesdays we do this, right? And like what you can do is you can utilize other content to kind of go through. So like if you're doing video content and you're doing like minute half 30-second like videos, remember sometimes you can recycle that content written out,
mm,
right? So like
yeah.
you don't have to overthink of it. The other thing too is understanding like yourself, and even though you work for somebody, you are still a personal brand for yourself to represent the company, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every
Mm-hmm.
morning when you wake up, you have a routine of sites that you go on that are probably relevant to the organization that you're with or the likes that you have. Obviously, you can see I have, all Halo and game stuff. So like I post about gaming things because I love the gaming industry. So like why am I going to write whole things about games when I can go on sites and utilizing other people's content as your own? That
Mm,
is a huge portion of it. Remember, there are influencers out there that have 5, 6 million people that follow them, and they have teams that are hundreds and maybe even thousands large that are constantly creating content that is out there. So there's no reason that you can't utilize other people's content, write 2 or 3 sentences on what your stuff is, and become a thought leader in your world. See, the problem is that you can become famous easily nowadays, right? The days of Oprah Winfrey and The Rock and Tom Cruise, those days are slowly dissipating because what everyone is becoming is nano influencers, right?
mm.
So we are big in this small section of either a geographic area or for a certain like industry. So like, you couldn't know, but like maybe I'm like the yarn guy. I crochet and I import yarn from India, and on TikTok and Instagram, I have millions of followers. But when I go out to a restaurant, nobody knows who I am. So
Mm.
that's the world that we live in. So there's all kinds of people out there that are creating that content that we can utilize as our own and put it out there.
That's good. That's good. That is really, really good. I hope all of those marketing coordinators out there are all paying attention to this. That is some solid stuff. Let's have a little bit of fun on a little speed round. and
Let's
then I want to
go.
hear how people can reach out to you. So when you eat, do you mix your food or nothing touches anything else?
A little A, little B.
Okay. I'm all in.
Depends.
I'm a
It depends.
mixer.
You're a mixer. I'll mix sometimes, but it depends on what I'm doing. Like if I got mashed potatoes in the thing, that's getting mixed in. You know what I'm saying?
What's the most ridiculous thing that someone has fooled you into believing was true?
Most ridiculous thing. Ooh. Hmm. Oh, you got me on that one. That is a hard one. I don't know. I'm not very gullible. That's the problem. I call people out on their bullshit. So I'm
There you
gonna
go.
say,
There
I'm
you
gonna say,
go.
I'm
Can't be
not.
fooled.
Can't be fooled.
Can't be fooled. I
Can't
love it.
fool a fool, right?
Last one. Name one of the most overrated bands of all time.
Overrated bands of all time. Oh, like Journey. Terrible.
There's a lot of people on here that their feelings are hurt right now.
Get mad.
So Harb, how can our audience learn more about you, connect with you,
Sure.
all that stuff? Please share it.
Yeah, I love to connect on LinkedIn. That's a great place for me to go. Please come on over. We can connect, and we can I can put my email, or let's connect. That's probably the best way to do it. So,
Awesome.
would love to
Awesome.
help.
Awesome. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us today on Tips in 10. Your tips were absolutely amazing.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Have an
Appreciate it.
awesome day. Peace.
Bye, everybody.